Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Can you all see me, hear me? How's it going? You like my new hairstyle? Where is everyone? There's a chat there. Mute yourselves. Let's see. I wonder if you can mute yourselves. Awesome. Yeah, we can join. Arifa, are you sounding, Arifa? Who else? Hope you guys got your party gear on because this is a. Thank you. Appreciate it. I took a long time to get it right. Thank you. All right, who else? Who else is here? Get in the chat. Introduce yourselves. Where are you calling from? Are you part of Barakah Academy member or not? This is going to be fun. Bismillah. Thank you, Sidra. Hey, welcome, Sidra. Good to see you. MashaAllah. Who else is here? We got Iman, Jihan. We got Khadija, Lami, Luis, Mustafa. All right, Nabiha, Umayma, Radia. You guys type in the chat if you're here. Just want to make sure you guys all here. We're starting in about 1 minute. It's all the Money Masterclass family. Oh yeah, of course. You guys just finished the Money Masterclass. That's true. Yeah, I had to time it. So it's just half an hour later. So thanks for you guys joining. Awesome. All right. Good. So welcome to Barakah Academy Public Launch. We're starting in about 1 minute, inshallah. If you're here, just introduce yourself in the chat. So this is a webinar. So the way this works, actually, you're all kind of muted unless you kind of raise your hand so I can mute yourself. So unfortunately, it's not as dynamic as the meeting rooms, but you got someone raising their hand. There we go. Okay, you can take your hand down if you want. Fatima, say something? Sorry, Fatima. You good? You can unmute yourself if you want to say something. Otherwise, you can just type in the chat. Awesome. All righty. Cool. Okay, starting in 1 minute. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. I put this on to capture your attention. Make sure that you all wake up when you see this. Otherwise, you're like, what's going on here? But yeah, it's a bit hot to wear it. So this is my favorite orange. You know, I used to love orange so much that the logo is Barakah Muslim orange. But yeah, if you want something that if you're interested if you want this for anyone to come and make it happen. Oh, Zaino from Cape Town, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us, mashallah. Wafa, mashallah, thanks for joining us. And thank you all of you for joining us. This is great. Welcome to the Barakah Academy public launch. It really means a lot to us that you guys decided to join us and be part of this public launch and just celebrate this milestone for the Productive Muslim team. The entire team has been working very hard to put together this platform. And today we're celebrating not just the launch of the platform, but actually over 100 members have already joined the past couple of months. So again, to all of you who is, if you're a Barakah Academy member, raise your hand. Raise your hand to the Barakah Academy members. I want to see you, inshallah ta'ala. So Muhammad Mustafa, thank you so much. Sidra's there. Thank you so much. All of you who are members of Barakah Academy really means a lot to us. You guys joined the early stages and we're part of this, inshallah ta'ala. But welcome. So Badr from Hanover, Germany, welcome. El, mashallah, Uzbekistan, mashallah, and from Kenya, Yambu Abdul Wahid, hope you're well, inshallah ta'ala. So this is really, again, a celebration of Barakah Academy. It's going to be sharing some of the story behind Barakah Academy, why we feel it's important, and why we want you to be part of this, inshallah ta'ala, and why this is a platform that's going to hopefully, as the tagline says, where faith meets personal and professional development, inshallah ta'ala. But first, I want to go to where it all started. So in 2007, when we started blogging at productivemuslim.com, and remember the old productivemuslim.com, the black and white, anyone here who's been there, watch those old black and white Productive Muslim, see if you got any old timers here. But the old Productive Muslim is 2007, where we're just basically typing and blogging about productivity, about faith, basically about productivity mainly. And it was in that journey that I stumbled this hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm gonna read in Arabic and translate it for all of you, inshallah ta'ala. That really changed my perspective on what it means to be productive from a spiritual perspective, what it means to be productive from a faith perspective. I think this is kind of the start of this whole Barakah movement that we've been kind of slowly but surely chipping away and kind of adding value every few years. So this hadith says, "An Sakhr ibn Wada'a." So the narrator of this hadith is known as Sakhr ibn Wada'a, and remember this name because this name is quite important. Radiallahu anhu, he said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم said, Allahumma barik li ummati fi bukuriha. Oh Allah, Allahumma, imagine the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is raising his hand, he's making dua, he's saying, Allahumma barik li ummati fi bukuriha. Oh Allah, put barakah in my ummah when? Where? in the early hours. في بكورها, in the early hours. Now, when I first heard this part, I was like, wait a second, this sounds familiar, because every productivity book that I've been reading up until that point has been talking about this: wake up early, wake up early, wake up early. Here, this major, like, personal development gurus and these personal development sort of, self-help people, like, guys, you want to be productive, you want to achieve lots of things in life, you got to wake up early, wake up early. And here we have a prayer, a dua, which we know is answered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says there is barakah, there's something special, there's this barakah in the early hours. So that was like the first kind of realization. But here it gets really interesting, because Sahr, the narrator of this hadith, Sahr Wada'i, says, قال وكان إذا بعث سريا أو جيشا بعثهم أول النهار. That when the Prophet ﷺ used to send an expedition or send an army, normally in the times of Medina, he used to send them early in the morning, early in the morning. وكان صخرا رجلا تاجرا. And Sahr, this man, the narrator of this hadith, he said he used to be a tradesman, he used to be a merchant. وكان إذا بعث تجارة بعثها أول النهار. And used to, whenever he used to send his caravans, his expeditions for the market, he used to send them first thing in the morning. فأثرى وكثر ماله. He became very wealthy, and his wealth, his money increased. رواه أبو داود الترمذي. This is narrated by Abu Dawud and Tirmidhi. Now, so the second realization is, wait a second, this man, Sahr ibn Wada'a, recognized, saw the link between his success in this world and tapping into this idea of barakah. And that's where these two things come together. So, like, son, it's not barakah. When I first heard this hadith, I thought, okay, the barakah means, wake up in the morning, pray fajr, do your adhkar, read Quran, right? And it's like, that's nice, this is a part of your barakah, but you never, I did not connect it with your actual success in this world, your actual, drive to success in this world, until when I read, wait a second, this Sahr, the man who narrated this hadith, he saw the link that, wait a second, if I actually do things early in the mornings, if I start my day early in the morning, if I do my trade early in the morning, I'm going to basically tap into a source of barakah, source of success that is divine, that is spiritual, that is beyond this material world, and that is very, very powerful, very real. And that was the kind of the beginning, the seed of starting ProductiveMuslim.com, but also started the idea of barakah and what it means to be barakah. But to be honest with you, at that time, 2007, this was the hadith that got us started. But we kind of like thought, okay, interesting barakah, but never really thought about what it means and how impactful this. So we spent the next about 10 years trying to answer this question. How do you harness spirituality and peak performance to help individuals and teams live the best version of ourselves? So we spent a lot of time studying productivity science, understanding about how the energy, focus, time, all this stuff works, introducing life hacks, sometimes introduce something spiritual to it, something we introduce the modern science, but really just trying to understand how spirituality and peak performance help people become a better version of themselves, not just individuals, but also teams. But as we're studying this question, something, we recognize a few things. We recognize that all the productivity science out there, if you study all this sort of psychology and peak performance and athletes and CEOs and top performers, normally all the productivity science out there revolves on three discussions. Number one, how to hack your brain, right? How to get this brain to be at its best, how to hack this brain to be at its top performance, how to make sure this brain removes a mental fog, how to, bulletproof coffees and all these hacks for your brain. And nowadays there's biohacking, people are having these special pills and God knows what. The idea of how do you, take this brain and increase its performance, right? The whole thing that we're not using even 10% of our brain power, we could do much more. And there's a lot of research on how to activate, how to tap into, how to maximize the potential of this brain. And that's one sort of field in productivity science. But the second field is this idea of the body, the idea of how do you manage your health, right? How do you get this machine that you're born with to be at its best? So things like, exercise, nutrition, things like how you sit, standing, right? All the stuff about how to boost productivity by taking care of your body. And then the third, that's a whole field of, again, science, of researchers, specialists in this field. And the third area of productive science and peak performance is how to hack your environment. How do you make sure your environment, so things like open office plans, closed office plans, things like the color of the windows, things like, staying close to, more sunlight versus less of sunlight. How do you hack your environment to boost your productivity. Now, these are all very reputable, very well-researched, very powerful fields of study. And for those who follow Productive Muslim know that we tap into all of these three and more even to kind of understand how to be the best version of yourself. But the question that kept on bothering me for the past 10 years is, in all this research, where is the productivity of the soul? Where is this idea of tapping into the productivity of the soul and asking people like, what about the soul? What about the ruh? We're speaking a lot about the physical side of us, our brain, our body, our environment, but what about the soul, with the ruh? And when you study this, the simple answer that the scientific community gives is, well, we don't understand the soul, we don't understand how it works, so therefore we'll just ignore it completely, right? And basically they took the whole field of spirituality, soul, and like, well, we don't understand how it works, and we can't see it, touch it, smell it, we can't put it under the microscope, so therefore we'll just completely chuck it away and not even discuss it when it comes to productivity circles. And this is where, again, Productive Muslim were like, wait a second, we have the last divine message to mankind. We have the Quran. We have the Sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We have this divine message that tell us how to tap into spirituality, how to communicate to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, how to live a fitrah lifestyle that brings both our spirituality as well as our bodies and our physical existence in harmony. Now imagine what would happen if those two come together. Imagine what would happen if we can bring these two together. And that's when, again, this whole idea of barakah popped up again. This idea that we need to tap into barakah, we need to understand barakah better, because we can't just talk about productivity without really understanding the role of the soul plays in your human motivation, your human development, your human performance. Does this make sense, everybody? Does this make sense? Are you following so far where we were and where we are going? So we started off by trying to understand productivity from a perspective of peak performance and getting things done. And then we realized there's a whole world out there of our spirituality, of the mindsets, the values, the rituals of our faith, which we tend to ignore when it comes to personal, professional development. And we just gotta we realize we need to tap into this field. We need to make this, and not just in a very superficial level. Not sometimes like, oh, just pray, make your 5 daily prayers and things will be fine. But at a very, very real level, So I think this is what we want to do with this idea of barakah. But then again, so we went back to the drawing board and said, okay, what does it mean to tap into barakah? Right? Again, it's not about theory. It's not about just having nice ideas. What does it really mean on the ground? And this is what we wanted to tap into. So we went back to the drawing board and said, okay, you know what? The definition for those of you who read Productive Muslim book, will tell you that the definition of productivity is how you manage your energy levels, how you manage your focus, and how you manage your time, right? If you manage your energy, focus, and time towards a beneficial output, that means you are productive. And that's the definition we give in the book, the general definition of productivity. But then I started thinking, what does it mean to tap into barakah? What does it mean, again, as a professional, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as somebody who goes to work, as somebody who has kids, as someone who wants to have meaningful impact? What does it mean to be productive, to be the best for yourself, while tapping this source of barakah? And realize, wait a second, what if we added a barakah coefficient, right? Beta, right? For those who love maths, you love this. For those who don't like maths, I'm sorry. But the idea of beta, right? So this is where my Einstein moment came up, and I said, all right, this is my Einstein moment. And I'm going to, develop this new equation, which is talking about how to tap into this super productive equation. And, went to the lab and said, all right, let's see how we can work with this equation. But all right, you've got energy, and how to tap into barakah, into energy. Something like spiritual energy, right? The idea of saying, I got to tap into my spiritual energy. And what that means, think about it. How many times, you sit there and think about, you might have all the energy in the world, you might eat best food in the world, you might sleep really well, you might exercise all day long, but there's something missing, the meaning and purpose. I do coaching almost every week. I have 6 to 8 coaching clients. And the number of times people who are top of their careers, who eat well, who have personal trainers, who got everything sorted, but they feel like, I'm still lazy, I'm feeling tired, I feel unmotivated. and you talk about the spiritual energy is not there. The barakah and the energy is not there. And I feel like because of that, lacks meaning, lacks purpose, lacks niyyah, intention, lacks connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then we talk about focus, same thing. Let's go back to the lab and see how this thing works. Well, wait a second, focus. Yeah, I mean, how many of us talk about focus, about, you know, getting things done and doing your to-dos and, you know, and making sure just like sit down there and you sit down and really focus on what you need to do. But what about the real important thing to focus on, which is akhirah, which is focusing on going to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, focusing on our qalb and how the state of our heart. We go to work every single day and our heart gets bombarded, right? With things we want to see, things we don't want to see, things we want to hear, things we don't want to hear, the politics, the riba, the gossip, you know, and kind of go through that. We get so distracted. Like, to be honest, like even when you like salah, it's like, oh yeah, I gotta go pray, because you almost like rush to salah because our spiritual focus is not there. And think about our spiritual focus. We're not grounded, right? We're not grounded in our spiritual focus, and it's not there. And then we go out of work, it's like, oh yeah, I need to go pray. Oh, I go home and I'm kind of struggling to focus on myself, my family, spirituality, and akhirah, on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then comes the idea of time, right? And I had a coaching call this week, and he said, I feel like my life is like an hourglass. And you know that hourglass, when the sand keeps coming down the hourglass, I feel like the top half of the hourglass is emptying, and I just don't have enough time to do what I want to do in life. And this idea of time running out, but then feeling like you just don't have enough time, feeling like your time is constricted, versus feeling this idea of barakah in our time, the idea of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like one person explained from a quantum physics perspective, again, Einstein, quantum physics perspective, the idea of expansion of our time versus contraction of our time. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts barakah in your time, it's like that 1 hour, that 1 day, that one lifetime, He expands it so that so much happens, so much good comes out of it. And when there's no barakah in your time, it constricts it. So your 8 hours of work feels like half an hour. Your 10 years of experience feels like 1 day. It's like, how did I spend my time? How did that time go? Where did my time go? And you feel like the barakah is being removed. And now think about this. Think about when you have barakah in your energy, you attract barakah in your energy levels, attract barakah in your focus, and you focus what's really important. And attract barakah in your time as well, meaning that you attract barakah in your hours, in your day. What do you feel would be the output? Right? What do you feel is the output? I know for those mathematicians say, wait a second, it should be beta power of 3. No, well, the point here is it's beta power of infinity, meaning the output is beyond expectation. The output is beyond expectations. Here's the thing. We are told that we are in control. We want to be in control, and we feel like we have control of our output. But we don't realize, sometimes we forget who's really in control, right? We ignore salah. We wake up in the morning to attend our conference calls. Instead of waking up in the morning to pray fajr, because why? Because we feel like, oh, this is important, it's a part of my control. But we forget who's really in control. We feel sheepish about praying at work. We feel sheepish about talking about akhirah and bringing the idea of being, having the akhirah focus in our day-to-day lives, because we're trying to control our world and control what's within our control. And beyond that, we feel like, it's outside of control. I don't know if I can manage this. But the point is, if you want to become productive and make this meaningful, you need to tap into that source of energy. You need to tap into that source of focus. You need to tap into that source of barakah in your time to achieve output, to achieve impact beyond expectations. Modern productivity is about maximizing output, but barakah is really about maximizing the impact of the output. Now, does this make sense? I don't know if I threw you off with the Einstein mode right now, but does this make sense so far? Do you understand that the power of tapping into your spirituality and really make it part and parcel of your performance, part and parcel of product, part and parcel of who you are and who you want to be, and all the goals trying to achieve in life? This is what this is all about. This is what it's all about really understanding that our soul, ruh, is powerful. We are the inheritors of the last divine message to mankind. Let that sink in. The inheritors of the last divine message to mankind. And we just don't understand how it actually really applies in daily lives. Something is missing here. Something needs to be tackled. Now, we had this equation. So we had the Einstein moment. We developed the equation, and then we just forgot about it. And I'll be honest, 2-3 years passed, and we just forgot about this thing. And then last year, this year, the this whole backlash happened on hustle culture, right? The co-founder of Reddit, wrote an article, and excuse my language, he used a term hustle pornography, right? The idea of people are so obsessed with hustling. Look at me, I wake up 4 a.m. to go to the gym, and look at me, inbox zero, and look at me, I get this much done in so many little time. And this whole craze of productivity become an obsession out of itself. It goes, that's not healthy. That's not real. That's driving people insane, right? That's like driving the mental illness. That's like driving families away. That's breaking down families. Like something's wrong there. And it's almost like the productivity world was flipped upside down, where people started questioning and challenging all the self-help out there and all this productivity advice out there, saying, what's this hustling culture? There's a great article in The Guardian that says, what's the point of time management if we're all going to die? Like literally, that was the title of an article, because how do you process that? How do you process being more efficient, being more effective, squeezing in 10 emails before a meeting? What's in the bigger term of things? And this became a serious issue. But the question is, what's the alternative, right? What is it? If we're not going to be hustling, if we're not going to be successful, if we're not going to be going out there and achieving success, what's the alternative? And this was where we published something that, to be honest, we did not expect the reaction we got. But the article on Barakah culture versus hustle culture, and Khadija, if you're online, you can just share the article, those who didn't want to read it before. Maybe there's an alternative. Maybe we can tap into something called Barakah culture instead of hustle culture, because hustle culture is driving us nuts. And there's a whole video, for those who joined the academy, I shared this video inside of Slack, where there's a whole drive saying, why hustle culture is driving us mad, why hustle culture is driving us almost to, this almost, it is making us miserable. But what's the alternative? Because, we kind of grew up thinking that that's it, we got to hustle. That's it. We just, that's life. You just got to hustle. If you're not hustling, then something's wrong with you. And we think, wait a second, what if there's an alternative? What if we can tap, thank you, Khadija. What if we can tap into this idea of Barakah culture? Now, the moment I say Barakah culture, some of my friends go, oh, Muhammad, saying it seems like sit back, relax, and just, chill and not do anything. That's Barakah. Look at the Muslim world. This is what got us. This is the Barakah culture. This is how it got us there. And wait, don't judge too quickly. It's our misunderstanding of Barakah culture. It's our misunderstanding of how we balance spirituality with daily performance that got us there. And we came up with these 11 sort of difference between hustle culture and Barakah. I want you to see, do you see yourself in these things? Hustle culture, very egocentric. Look at me, myself, and I. Look at my CV, look at my LinkedIn profile, look at who I am, versus being Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala centric. Like, why is this important in the bigger scheme of things? Who am I doing this for? Hustle culture, personal success driven, right? Again, it's about those awards, accolades, those certificates, versus impact and purpose. I know people with 0 certificates, 0 accolades, but the impact way more than the most highest ranked, with someone that has a stack of certificates. Again, nothing against certificates or accolades or awards, but it's the impact. What's driving you? Are you driven by the personal success, or are you driven by the purpose and impact? Hustle culture, very worldly focus. Barakah culture, hereafter focus. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying to, hereafter focus means, all right, I'm going to pack my bags and sit back, relax, and go into a mosque and meditate the rest of my life. I'm talking about hereafter focus, meaning engaging with this world, making impact for the sake of hereafter. That hadith Rasulullah said, إِذَا قَامَتِ الْقِيَامَةِ, if the day of judgment starts, and just imagine that, day of judgment starting, and I was in California this week, and I was sitting in someone's apartment, and literally the ground shook. There was a mini earthquake that happened right there in the Bay Area for 20 seconds. And I kid you not, my heart was in my throat, literally. Mini 20-second earthquake, very, very, not even a big one, but you really think, subhanAllah, if this is a tiny taste of what would happen on the day of judgment, when the earth will truly shake that day on the day of judgment. So this is a massive, imagine that situation, day of judgment, earth is shaking, sun and moon colliding, the seas are exploding. And the Prophet said, وَفِي يَدِ أَحَدِكُمْ فَسِيلَةٌ, in the hands of one of you is a date palm tree. Now, he could have said anything else. He said, فَلْيَزْرَعَهَا, let him plant it. Let him plant that tree. Now think about it. The earth is shaking, the whole thing is falling apart. First of all, for you to even be aware of what's happening, because in that day, everyone will be so unaware of what's happening. But for you to be aware of what's happening, you will want to, you'll do so. Planting a tree, like what planting a tree do? The whole thing's gonna collapse anyway. The Prophet ﷺ is teaching us to make impact to the last moment, to be people of impact, of purpose, of hereafter folk to the last moment. That is the mindset shift we need, versus just about that, that next salary, just about that, pleasing the boss. It's about focusing on God acceptance. Imagine doing work, focusing on God acceptance. Again, I was doing a retreat for a small IT company, and they were talking about, I don't know, one guy said, I'm a coder, I just code all day long. I don't care about all this nice concept, but I just do software coding. How am I supposed to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through software coding? And I asked them, do you know the 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He goes, yeah, I know it very well. So which one do you really love out of the 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He said, I love the name Al-Jamil, the most beautiful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Jamil, Yuhibbul Jamal. Allah is beautiful, loves beauty. So great. Is there such thing as beautiful code? The guy was like, yeah. Like this, his eyes popped up. I was like, yeah. I thought, imagine now you wake up in the morning and you're coding and you want to develop beautiful code so that Allah accepts from you. Think of that spiritual energy that you'll get, and think of that motivation, desire, and the excellence, the ihsan that will come from you when you focus about. So Barakah culture is not a lazy culture. Barakah culture is actually peak performance beyond even your best expectation. It unlocks your full potential. So Barakah hustle culture, again, never being satisfied. Never ever satisfied, versus Barakah culture is content yet ambitious. Again, nothing wrong being ambitious. You can be content and ambitious. We think it's either or. No, you can be content and ambitious. You can want something out of life, but you are content with also how to place you in that life. Seeking credit versus grateful, distracted, rushed, and busy. Like that is like a badge of honor. Hey, I was working all night last night. Oh, look at me, I'm busy. I'm busy. And in fact, if you go to somebody and say, how are you? You go, oh, I'm not busy. Like, what's wrong? Why are you not busy? Are you on vacation? What's going on with you? Versus, I'm busy. I'm distracted, I'm rushed. And being focused, being tranquil, being present. And focus not just in terms of to-dos and tasks, but focus on where you are, where you're heading, yet still achieving so much in so little time. Right? Absolutely, Irda. Sense of entitlement, right? The idea of, oh, look at my promotion, and like I deserve this promotion, I deserve this success, versus the sense of responsibility. When Umar ibn Abdul Aziz became the Khalifa, no one could find him, and then they found him crying in a corner. It's like you just became the, nowadays if you do in a political, if you became promoted or you got elected, we make this whole party, and we make this, invite people over, look at me, alhamdulillah, I got promoted. We get all this excitement, but where's that sense of responsibility? That's Barakah culture, right? This Barakah culture, sense of responsibility. These hustle culture, big moves, always change is constant. I was talking to somebody who works for an IT company, goes, man, we just keep on changing stuff. There's no focus. There's no long-term consistency. There's nothing. The only thing consistent is keep on changing, and it's like everyone's being thrown off. There's nothing that we're working towards that's meaningful, that's deep, that takes root. Just like a tree, a date palm tree takes years to grow. The idea of planting stuff is always changing, always pivoting. Very short-term thinking, trying to please the shareholders, versus long-term, consistent, small. Think about even modern companies that have tapped into this. Amazon used to be, thrashed on Wall Street because they were very long-term focused, and shareholders did not like that because they wanted quick returns. But they focused long-term, and look at where they are now. They built a long-term vision. Sometimes you've got to think about long-term versus just this quick, short pivot moves just to please the short-term 3-month goals and 3-month targets. So this is the hustle culture that we're in. And we want to help you and all of us shift to Barakah culture. Yet, and this does not mean reducing our performance. This means it's almost like a paradigm shift. Does this make sense? The idea of how can you need to shift from hustle culture to Barakah culture, and start understanding that we need to be more aligned and bring spirituality into this whole field. In fact, one thing that's interesting, over this month alone, I was giving this specific talk, Barakah culture and hustle culture, at Salesforce, at Google, American Airlines, under the diversity inclusion groups. So we spoke to Muslim groups, non-Muslim groups, interfaith groups as employees, and we're just talking about this idea of Barakah culture versus hustle culture. And the crazy thing is, across all these major companies, these are if you think about hustle culture, these guys are in the middle of hustle culture. Across these groups, across these companies, everyone said, oh my goodness, I can see myself, we are so hustle culture and we need barakah culture. Like literally so many times, like employees, Muslims, non-Muslims are like, we are so hustle culture, we need barakah culture. And that's when you think, you know what, we got to tackle this. This is now becoming, you know, it's becoming almost like an imperative for us. If we are the inheritors of the last divine message to mankind, and if hustle culture is driving people mad, we need to actively develop and help people, you know, live the best version of self in a way that's meaningful, in a way that makes sense, in a way that engages people, you know, in a way that they're successful, they're productive, but not at the expense of their soul, not at the expense of the soul. So now the question is, how can we make barakah culture a reality, right? That's kind of the question now. Is how can we make barakah culture a reality? Because, you know, we're here, all of us, you know, we go to work, we're busy, we're trapped into hustle culture, we have bills to pay, we have, you know, concerns, we have bosses like, you know, breathing down our throat, wanting stuff done, you know, and we don't have many models of barakah culture out there that are successful, that can show this stuff works. And this is where we thought, you know what, we need to build a community, right? We need to build a community, people like you. And again, I'm so honored that there's all of you here, just being part of this. This means a lot to all of us at Productive Muslims, this whole team, because we need to start somewhere, right? Just because there's no successful model of barakah culture does not mean does not exist. And in fact, there'll come a time when we will look back and realize hustle culture was mad. It'll spit us out, tired, you know, families broken, have serious issues because we just bought into that culture and never realized we need to tap into our spirituality and our faith. And this is where Barakah Academy was established. Now, for those of you who remember, we had something called Productive Muslim Academy before. And again, a big shout out to all of you who believed in us, who trusted in our early days. As we still figure this out, we started Productive Muslim Academy because we wanted to have these courses on productivity in Islam. But after a while, you know, we was looking at Productive Muslim Academy, and alhamdulillah, about 1,000 members joined Productive Muslim Academy. But when you start thinking about it, like, wait a second, you know, okay, increase productivity, but to what end? What's the end goal? So literally went back to the drawing board. We completely revisit the whole thing and scratch the whole thing, start from scratch. And again, thank you for everyone for their patience as we kind of migrated and slow. I mean, it was a lot of work, but realized we gotta do this. This is now, it's becoming almost like essential, because if our goal, if our deen, if our dream is to, you know, our vision is to spread barakah culture globally. Like, I want companies to talk about barakah culture. I want, whether it's companies, it's not just an individual thing. I want professionals who go to work and they can feel comfortable engaging and work with barakah culture. But again, like, so far, barakah seems a bit wishy-washy, seems a bit kind of, you know, it's not tangible. Like, how do I tap into barakah? And this is where our strategy is to equip all of us, including myself, including the entire team, with knowledge, right? With skills, with tools, and saying we gotta figure this out. We gotta figure this, and that's why I'm saying it's about building community, about testing things out, about working together as a community of professionals, saying, how will this apply? You know, Rose just asked a great question. Like, first, let's start with the biggest basics. How you translate barakah culture to non-Muslims? Honestly, I just go with barakah culture. Because if I try to translate to blessings, or the meaning gets you know, watered down. So it's just like you know how the Buddhists have done an amazing job of talking about Zen, and they kind of branded Zen, because, you know, now corporate America talks about, like, Zen is like, you know, almost a term that understood with mindfulness, meditation, almost a catch-all phrase. We have an opportunity as Muslims to develop this brand of barakah and offer it to the world. And say, listen, this is an alternative way of being successful without losing your soul. This is an alternative way of being successful, which is meaningful, which taps into people's potential. So I think this is where we need to almost brand barakah and say, well, hey, as Muslims, here's what we're offering to the world, right? You know, it's tiring every time Muslims are mentioned. There's like negative connotations associated with it. What if we actually developing something that's really powerful, that's actually answering a pain point that the world is thinking, a pain point that we're trying to figure out. This is what this barakah culture is about. This is what we were trying to do. So that's our vision. Spread barakah culture globally. Again, might seem crazy, but we got to start somewhere. We got to be crazy enough to believe that this is real. This can happen. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has trusted all of us, not just me. This is not a one-man show. It's not a Productive Muslim show. This is all of us, each one of us saying, I'm signing up for Barakah culture. I'm tired of hustle culture. I'm not gonna live hustle culture and basically be like destroyed through it. I opt to be pampa Barakah culture. This is where we want to go. This is where we want to go. So again, but we need your help. We need to figure out how to make this work. And that's why it's going to be co-creation, right? That's why I'm going to show you how we're going to do it in Barakah Academy, but about what's the practical knowledge? What are the skills, how-tos? Because it's not just about having nice ideas, but it's 9 o'clock. My boss is, my boss is breathing down my throat. Oh, I have a really annoying boss. Or, no one, I'm really struggling with contentment. I'm really struggling with examples, idea of I want to be successful, but how does my nafs want to this? Like this is where we develop. This is where we need to this is where we need to start thinking about the practicalities of this stuff, because people will challenge us, right? I guarantee you, I got challenging. Google, Salesforce, American Airlines, all these companies. You're like, wait a second, why can't we just have hustle culture? I like hustle culture. Why can't we just take a bit of Barakah culture and forget about hustle culture, and just stick to the hustle because we're very comfortable? I'm like, no. We got to shift fully. This is how we go. Awesome. Thank you, Suleiman. Again, hearing this means a lot. This means a lot because it shows us there's something there. There's something all of us that can relate to and think there's got to be a different way of being successful. There's got to be a different way of that brings our spirituality, that makes this the reality. And really, we're going after two groups of people. We're going after yourselves, right? Professionals, entrepreneurs, leaders, executives. We want people to tap into. Alhamdulillah, for example, we had a company in South Africa, which was, mashallah, the CEO was tuned into Barakah culture, and he made it his mission statement. This is literally at a company retreat, leadership retreat, they made it the mission statement is to become the gold standard of Barakah culture in the tech industry in South Africa. Like just hearing that, and I did not even suggest it to them. We just went through our normal retreat, and at the end of the day, we're trying to package like what's the outcome. This is the CEO and the leadership team said, we want to become the gold standard of Barakah culture in the tech industry in South Africa. We want people to look at us and says, hey, what's the secret of success? And we can say it's actually Barakah. Like that sort of thinking, that's what's going to level us up, and not as individuals, but as companies, as organizations, as a civilization. So this is where we want to go. This is where we want to go. How to work with professionals like yourselves, people who are working, people who are leaders, people who are executives, people who need to help, this is what we need. This is what we need to go. This is what we need to go. Really make it about developing this Barakah, making Barakah a gold standard for all our companies. Every time they see a Muslim, right? They see as someone who's a gold standard in Barakah culture. It's funny. I was in Cape Town the other day, and 2 weeks ago, and they said there was a time when a judge in court sees a Muslim person, right, with wearing a hat, they do not need witnesses for that person. Look at that. They do not need witnesses for that person because they know this is a person of God. This is a person of Barakah. So the judge will say, this person is not, whatever they say is true, no more witnesses needed for that person. Because why? They embodied Barakah culture. They embodied Barakah culture. So I think this is where we need to go with professionals, with companies, and talk to them that this is you got to tap into. Now I know, because we live in a very secular world where it's really uncomfortable. Trust me, when I go to companies or when I do like corporate coaching or corporate training, and they're like, yeah, but how do you talk about Barakah and Allah and Akhirah and Shaitan? Like, dude, like what's this? Like, you just don't talk about this stuff in the workplace. And it's how this even in Muslim companies, Muslim majority companies. I'm like, exactly. The biggest trick of Shaitan is making us feel this is uncomfortable, makes us feel this is like not real. This is like, oh, it's not professional enough. Oh, this stuff is for the masjid, right? Not for work. This is not for the work. But we're way, 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 way out of bounds. If we don't realize the importance of Barakah in our day-to-day life, from the moment we wake up to sleep, then we're missing out a huge chunk of it. We spend 8 to 9 hours at work. Imagine 8 to 9 hours soulless. Yes, maybe we pray. Yes, maybe we wear hijab. Yes, maybe we say Assalamu alaikum, mashallah, and all the nice stuff. But in our day-to-day dealings, in the mindsets, the values, we got to bring that up. We got to bring this up, inshallah. This is where, we need to develop this further. And I'm reading the idea. This is great. I love the concept you guys bring about. We're going to develop this further and say, no, this is real. And what we lack is the research. What we lack as a community, as Muslim, the research to back this stuff. Just like, again, I'm going to refer to the Buddhists because they've done a great job, to be honest. with the Zen and the mindfulness and meditation. Now look at it. All this research, before, used to be laughed at. In fact, I'm reading before, when the whole mindfulness movement started in the 1970s, everyone's like, no, that stuff is like not real. It's pseudo-scientific. It's like, it's, they made fun of it. They were like, scientifically like scoffed it off. Now there's all this research and neuroscience, and like, oh wow, meditation is the best thing you're gonna do in the world. And it's like, people started doing research, but we need more research. We need to prove the stuff works. We need more case studies. Like right now, when I'm going to companies, I'm actually really working with small companies first, because I want to do like a case study. Like, look, this is where company A was. And then after adopting Barakah culture, this is where company A was 5 years later, 20 years later. Because unless you show results, then you can say, okay, this is a nice thought, but it's not real. We want to show that it is real. Barakah is real. Barakah is something divine. Barakah can actually happen. So the framework, again, the research is we're going to develop a framework together. Framework where we say, okay, if we want to tap into Barakah, we've got to tap into the mindsets that are in our faith, tap into the values of our deen, and tap into the rituals as well. Don't underestimate the rituals. And these three together will help us develop Barakah culture. And by the way, the way this came up was actually, again, a research paper, which very rare. There's Dr. Ali Gumzawi, who's in Germany. He wrote a paper which is very powerful, Embracing Religions in Moral Theories of Leadership. And it's a very good paper if you want to check it out, where one of the very few, mainstream research papers talk about religion and the importance of religion in leadership circles. And he said that there are three things that people of faith believe in that really differentiates them from other people. One is they believe in a God. So we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is by itself is huge. And this unlocks a whole different way of thinking. Like think of God acceptance, think about being God-centric, think about when you think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching me. These are very powerful concepts. Don't underestimate the power of these concepts. And that drives your mindset. Excuse me. The second thing is believe in hereafter, that there is an akhirah, right? Again, this drives, their value system, right? Because a lot of stuff in Barakah culture you got to do is, a lot of stuff you got to do in Barakah culture sometimes can go against your personal cost, right? It goes against you, it comes at personal cost. Like, I could cheat a little bit of my CV and just show off that I'm really good when I'm not. I could, just tell somebody off just to get it off my mind and feel good about it. But that's not Barakah culture. So believe in the akhirah, believe that you'll be held accountable for every word you say and everything you do with your hand. That puts a whole different system, right? That really puts a whole different system in your way of thinking and how you approach life. And finally, believe in the Quran and Sunnah, which gives us the mindset, the values, and the rituals, those lifestyle choices. So this is the beginning, an early beginning of frame. Again, I can't claim here that we figured it out, right? And this is why we need you to work together to figure this out together. This is the beginning of a framework. It's a proposal. And I would love for you to challenge it. I'd love for you to say, yeah, it makes sense, but maybe we should do things differently. But we got to start thinking actively about how we present this stuff, how we talk about this stuff. And again, testing, researching, making this real, making this happen, inshallah ta'ala. Now, I'm looking at the time. Gosh, I got too excited that I'm almost going over time. I want to show you a sort of the back end of Barakah Academy, but before that, I want to talk about just where we're heading with this and where. Let me do this. Let me just show you a live demo of Barakah Academy, because I want to show where we are now, and then talk about where we want to go, because I think sometimes it helps see where we are now. So let me just stop this sharing, and then we go into sharing our screen. Okay, so this is Barakah Academy. Okay, this is how it looks like. This is where we're starting off with. You're gonna log in. When you log in, I'll show you how to become a member soon, inshallah ta'ala. Got my cool username, Productive. I'm still Productive. I haven't given that name up completely. Okay, you log in, and the first thing you notice is you have this dashboard, and you have these 5 areas that we wanted to develop. Again, this is like version 1 of this academy. I'm going to tell you where we're heading with this, inshallah ta'ala. We have this courses library. Okay, and this is self-paced courses. Now, for those of you part of Productive Muslim Academy, some of these courses will look very familiar, but we are actually in the works now trying to develop like courses. For example, we want to develop like a graduate certification in Barakah culture. We want to have Barakah culture practitioners, people so we understand the mindset, the values, the rituals of Barakah culture. So this is some of the courses in Productive Academy, but we're now working on how can we align these courses. Some of the courses might be removed, added, updated. But again, everything's lined up now to the idea of Barakah. How do we make sure Barakah culture becomes real? So that's the courses. We also have a book club. And, like, again, we've rethought the book club. The purpose of the book club is not just to read books, right? A lot of book clubs, okay, how many try and get you in the habit of reading books? That's not the point of it. The point of it is to develop faith-based critical reading skills. What do I mean by this? Actually, Omar Osman came up with this term. The idea there is we want people who, when they read a book, a self-help book or a journal or research paper or a blog or an HBR website, HBR blog, we want them to start thinking, how does this line up with my faith? How does this line up with the Quran and Sunnah? How does this line up with Barakah? Because a lot of books, again, a lot of secular books are written with the mindset that there's no God, with the mindset that there's no akhirah, with the mindset that perhaps there's something called spirituality, but maybe it's a small part of our lives. But as Muslims, we've got to read it differently. We've got to be, now take the good. There's wisdom in all these books, take the good. But don't, sometimes we blindly follow these books without critically analyzing them. So what we're doing is, as every quarter, so for example, this next quarter, we're reading 3 books on leadership, all right? So leadership, big topic, we all talk about leadership. We're reading this, standard leadership book, 21 Laws of Leadership. We're gonna read a book that basically says, leadership is BS, right? Completely contradicting everything that's in this first book. And then we're bringing the faith perspective. What is the leadership of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And then imagine sort of synthesizing all these 3 and start thinking from not just about reading a book, oh wow, that's a great book, I really enjoyed it. No. Is reading a book, and again, faith-based, and again, kudos to Rose, for example. Rose is one of our members, and we'll show you some of her work. She actually analyzed the book and she started questioning and looking at things with Islamic perspective. That's amazing. That's what we want to do with this book club. It's not just about reading a book for the sake of reading a book. Then we have this mastermind calls, and these are actually really fun. So the way mastermind calls happen is very simple. Once a month, we choose a topic, and we get on a call. For example, this is the topic we did last month on, for example, how do you define success? That's the topic, right? And we get on a call, all the members, and just have a great 1-hour conversation, right? I'm asking the questions, I'm challenging people. Well, how do you find success? And just start thinking about it. Because again, these terms we can accept. The next call in October, what's the link between reminder of death and product and performance, right? So the idea of death and performance, and it's not about Halloween, by the way, but the link between death, remembrance of death, how as Muslims, how we understand death, how we appreciate death, how we think about death, and how that impacts our performance and productivity, right? So every month we have this mastermind calls, very topic specific, not just a random Q&A, but actually topic specific that makes us think, like, wait a second, yeah, what's, for example, in November, what's the role of shaitan in the workplace? Really, just the topic, what's the role of shaitan in the workplace? And have a conversation about that. All of us, we get on a call and start thinking, yeah, like, what's the role of shaitan in the workplace? And how to tackle that. That's the discussion you want to have. This is, again, and because all of us here can come with the same worldview, we can come with some really interesting ideas, thought experiments to try out. So that's the mastermind call. Then my favorite part is a community forum. And so we are now on Slack, right? And for those who join Slack, this is how Slack looks like. Just look, if you look, for example, introductions here, and you can see that there's 112, actually, we now 112 members of Join Barakah Academy. And just look at introductions, and we have these amazing people from all over the world who've joined us, who are doing incredible things, right? And really the high caliber professionals. This is what I was really impressed by when we first started. Like, mashallah, we have some really like serious people on board of this. We've got doctors, we've got engineers, we've got certified leaders, executive coaches, and that's powerful. And now imagine, and alhamdulillah, I even started noticing some collaboration happening between members. And this is what this community, and imagine build this community together where we all working together, we all talking to each other, we all sort of, just reminding each other. This is Surah Al-Asr, right? الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. That we are enjoining each other towards goodness and enjoining each other towards the akhirah, towards help, towards truth and being patient, because hustle culture is hard. Hustle culture is like breathing down our throats, and just being part of this refreshing group of professionals who think alike. We call like-hearted professionals who have the same heart, who want to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can ask questions, we can debate. I'm here every day, but in fact, I'm actually addicted to this Slack channel. I go there every day, I read every comment, I'm there answering questions, because I feel like this is the community of people who believe in Barakah culture. And I make sure we're going to nurture it. We're going to nurture it and make it happen, inshallah. So that's version 1, right? This is version 1 of Barakah Academy. It's not the be all end all. This is where we're heading. And the point of this is, I want us to realize that, when you start here, it's a starting point, but it's not the end goal, because I feel like it's a platform, and I hope that it's not about the courses, not about the year. Okay, there's like 1,000 video courses like LinkedIn Learning, right? It's I'm hoping that you join as a community, and I'm hoping you all become like Barakah ambassadors, Barakah culture ambassadors in your own spheres. And this is how we make impact. This is how we spread the word. This is how we tell people. We give away this. By all those members, you'll receive soon a small pin for Barakah culture, right? We're gonna give you these pins, and I want you to like start wearing it. Wear it on your shirt. Wear it on your, in your bag. And people say, hey, what's that cool logo? Oh, that's Barakah. That's Barakah. What's that? Boom. Start the conversation. Exactly. It's a movement. Start the conversation. Tell them about Barakah. As my friends, as my non-Muslim friends, that Barakah stuff, right? The Barakah stuff is amazing. Like, yeah, the Barakah, whatever you call it. Let's just join in. Let's talk about it. Let's enjoy. Let's discuss it. Let's have a conversation about it. That's what this whole thing is about, inshallah. So membership. We're putting a fees. We're making it as affordable as possible. So $25 a month. And by the way, monthly or annual, you got the same thing. So if you don't want to do the annual, you can do monthly. But if you're a team, if you have a team of about 10 or more people, we do have heavy discounts for teams. So if you run a company, or if you're a group of 10 professionals in your organization, say, hey, listen, I want to become as a team, just join us and be part of it, inshallah ta'ala. And we'll send you a link, and it's a great way for all of you to create your own user accesses, and it's once a year. So we want to develop, really make it like, again, as a community. We also want serious people. People saying, all right, I want to become a member of this and become serious. I want to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm serious about my commitment. It's not like a nice online platform that I join and I'll forget about. I want you to be on Slack every day. I want you to be joining mastermind calls. I want you to be reading with the book club. I want you to join our courses and finish our courses, and we'll push you. We want to make sure this Barakah culture is not a nice idea. We want to be real. We want to develop it. And like I said, Jerry, great idea. Like, how do you start this movement? Like, we're going to go organically, right? Let's see how we are. So right now we have about 100 members. I think once we hit like 1,000 members, we can start thinking about chapters, thinking about meetups, right? I love to do meetups, and I'm happy to travel to wherever you guys are. If you got like, let's say 50 people on location, boom, I'll travel. Like we'll just sit there, and I want to hear it. Inshallah, this becomes like sadaqah jariyah. Even if I drop dead today, I'll continue this mission. Don't wait for me. I want this to think about where this goes and how can we continue and make sure that this happens. So what's the vision? Where are we heading with this? The vision for Barakah Academy, I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept this vision from us and to grant us beyond expectation, is honestly a university. We want reputable research and training center. Like imagine an HBS, Harvard Business School, for Barakah. Imagine psychologists, neuroscientists, management consultants, IT professionals, people who would say, let's really study this and make it happen. We want to graduate spiritually intelligent. Spiritually intelligent. This is a testament to my late friend, Brother Nabil Azmi, who passed away this year, who talked about spiritual intelligence. We want to develop spiritually intelligent professionals who say, you know what? I want to develop these spiritual professionals, entrepreneurs, and leaders that live balanced, meaningful, right? It's not about being a cog in a corporate wheel and then that's it, spit out in retirement. Balanced, meaningful lives that have massive impact on the world around them. We want to be an ummah of barakah, just like our civilization had massive impact in the world. We want to revive that, right? We will revive that in every single thing we do. So become a reputable research. This is where we're heading. The vision for Barakah Academy is to become a reputable research training center that graduates. Now, how long will it take us to get there? Allahu A'lam, right? Honestly, we don't know. Our role as Muslims is to plant the seed. Our role is to nurture. Our role is to envision this and have a dream about this and talk about it, and we work together. And we agree. Like I always say, you plant the seed, you work hard like the gardener. You work hard, you plant a seed, but we might not see this in our own lifetime. I might not see this. The Barakah Muslim team might not see this. But I'm hoping maybe our kids, maybe our grandkids would say, yeah, this Barakah stuff is real. This Barakah stuff is can happen. And may Allah put Barakah in absolutely in inshallah ta'ala. So, but one thing I want to keep consistent, whether we're university or we're an academy, whether we're an online platform, whether we are a proper institution with people and we want to maintain 7 qualities. Number 1, faith-based. This is grounded in our deen. We're not gonna tiptoe around faith. We're not gonna try and water faith down. We're not gonna say, oh yeah, maybe. No. It's faith-based. It's spiritual. It's based on the Quran, in the Sunnah, in the works of our scholars. This is faith-based platform university. How it starts off, but also scientifically backed. Now, up to a point. Sometimes we have to get to a point where something the science and faith are like, oh, I'm not sure. Well, we're gonna figure out how to make it work. Science backed. It's not just about nice theories and concepts. We want the research. We want the case studies. We want to show evidence. We want to develop the evidence, right? Scientifically backed, practical, actionable, not wishy-washy. One thing that drives me nuts is a lot of people have great ideas and great theories, but what does that mean when I go to office at 9 o'clock in the morning? I have no idea. Practical, actionable, skills focused. We want people to be given the skills to lead with barakah, skills to communicate with barakah, skills to make decisions with barakah, skills to manage stress with barakah, skills to build teams with barakah, skills to run startups with barakah. Skills, right? Skills. That's what we need. Not just, again, not theories. Hopefully very engaging, right? Hopefully making sure it's very engaging. Number 6, clear ROI. Like, I want you to say, man, that $25 is worth it. I don't want you to look at, oh, that $25 a month, that's expensive. $50 a year, that's like, oh my God, it's hit my bills. I want you to say that was the best investment I've made this year. Like, clear return investment. Like, this was the best investment. I'm so happy I'm part of this community because I can see 10 times the return on my investment, way more than I expect. So just being clear ROI. See, this makes a lot of sense. And our main focus is personal and professional development. We're not going to go outside these two topics. It's about personal and professional. It's not about developing a theological courses or seerah course. No, this is about personal professional development. It's about how do we link spirituality where personal and professional development is developed. Like I said, we are just starting, right? We are just starting. We're just putting the planting the trees. And I hope that all of you here, whether you join the academy or not, I hope we're all here to be ready to spread barakah culture and make it a reality and make it help. And like I said, this is not a one-man show, and it's not a Productive Muslim show. This is all of us. In fact, one of the things that we'll be doing, Barakah Academy might be even separated from Productive Muslim Academy as an institution, because I was talking over the weekend about how can we actually, Productive Muslim, alhamdulillah, is doing well on its own, it's standing its own 2 feet. But Barakah Academy is almost like a whole new ball game. It's literally a whole new ball game for us. We're still going to maintain both. We're not going to shut down Productive Muslim, don't worry. But it's like, how can we take this a whole new level? And we need to work together with people that can make it basically make it happen, make it real. And I always remind of this verse, right? أَفَرَأَيْتُمْ مَا تَحْرُثُونَ أَأَنْتُمْ تَزْرَعُونَ وَنَحْنُ الزَّارِعُونَ. Have you seen that seed which you sow? Is it you who makes it grow, or we the grow? This is up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I pray that Allah gives us the tawfiq, that He chooses us to be servants of Him that actually delivers on this promise of barakah culture. And I pray we stay sincere, because if we're not sincere, Allah will send other people who will replace us, and other people take over this role. But I pray, honestly, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses us for His sake in a way that is meaningful, in a way that makes sense, in a way that helps us become true Khalifa, true vicegerents, true representatives of His way, of this barakah culture way in the way forward, inshallah. And honestly, I'm almost reminded, it's about a year ago that my grandfather passed away, Allah yarhamu. And he always reminded me about this idea of small, consistent action. Small, consistent action. And that is what leads to a lifetime of success. So as we build this platform, as we work on this platform, as we become this platform, I hope that you be with us on this journey. It's gonna be a long journey, and it's gonna be hopefully and I want you to remind us, the moment we deviate from this journey, the moment we get distracted, say, hey, Muhammad, you messed up. There's something missing there. You need to go back to that journey, because that's important. We're gonna hold each other accountable. We're gonna, inshallah, build this together, make this a reality. And as my grandfather says, barakah fikum. There's barakah inside each one of you. Each of you comes to the platform with your own barakah. Each of you brings your own barakah to this platform. And together, inshallah ta'ala, we can really, really build something that is meaningful, that makes impact, that takes Googles and the Salesforces, American Airlines, all these big companies to a storm and say, wait a second, there's something that these Muslims have that we need to understand, because this barakah stuff is beyond anything we have developed, inshallah ta'ala. So now I'm gonna open the floor, and I promise to keep it within an hour, but any questions, any thoughts, any ideas. So I'm going to do this. Let me just type into the, if you want to speak, feel free to raise your hand, and I'm going to unmute you, and we can share your thoughts. And I'm also going to answer the Q&As. Let me see if I can answer the Q&As as well. There's a few Q&As here live. So let me see. So we got Jerry. Go ahead, Jerry. Bismillah. Let me see you.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm very excited about this. I've been waiting for something like this for a long while. I think this is what we need to learn how to package our way of life for others, not only Muslim, but non-Muslim to use. So my question to you, when can you train me? Because there's only one good brother, Faris. So the more we are in tune and in alignment with Barakah, and you teaching a lot of us to gain that and embody it, the better we'll be as beautiful billboard of this new movement. So one thing I think we need to start looking at is how many of us have started embodying the Barakah world? How many of us take the mastermind client? How many of us have gone to the course and have been applying it, and how has it used? Use our experience and start doing this so we can package this, because we don't want to promote it away and then each one of us is saying it one way. We have to come up a consensus of what we talk about and what it is about, so we can move forward with this. Mashallah, mashallah, may Allah reward you. I'm so excited because this is what I've been talking to other Muslims. We need to learn how to package our Islam. It's not only the dawah and everything we're doing this great, alhamdulillah, but not all of us can do this. Us as professionals in our fields, this is what we need to be able to package what we believe in as a way of life for everybody to apply. They don't have to become Muslim, but if they can understand what Islam's about and how it answers all the tars and trials of life, we have a good chance of just making dawah. And then they by themselves will take their shahada. We don't have to go all the way. This is just a new channel, a new way for us to package what we have, the great religion that we have for other people to learn from.
Absolutely, subhanAllah. And it's about making Islam relevant again, right? You can make Islam relevant to the again, if we're rahmah lil alameen, if we are sent as a mercy to mankind. Of course, this is the message, the vision of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was to become a rahmah lil alameen, and we are the inheritors of his legacy. How are we going to be a rahmah lil alameen in a professional context, in the workplace, in the day-to-day interaction? Talk about packaging. For example, one of the things we're developing at Barakah Academy is this Barakah culture cards. Literally, these are physical cards. So part of it is talking about training. We're talking about physical culture cards where we're saying, all right, what are the mindsets? We do this little games. What are the mindsets? What are the values? What are the rituals? And we play a game in a company, in a team culture. And in fact, it's funny, at Dubai Islamic Bank, I have a friend of mine who works there. He did this for his whole team. Like, okay, what are Barakah mindsets we're going to adopt this week, for example? A company in South Africa was like, all right, every day we're going to choose one. For example, the idea of, for example, the idea of tawbah. What does it mean to have tawbah in a professional setting? So it's all about developing, make it real, like I said, packaging it. And I think that's why and alhamdulillah, we have an amazing, mashallah, team, the designers, the printers, there's a lot that goes behind the scenes, and this is where and you can tap into that. We can really make this happen. And regarding a question about training people, one of the things that we want to do on Barakah Academy itself is a self-paced, almost like Barakah practitioner, certification program. So imagine you'll go, you'll start with the framework, the mindset, values, and rituals. You'll be trained on the 17 minds, 17 values, and rituals, and with exercises. And by the end of that, you get a certification. I'm a Barakah culture practitioner. And again, sounds a bit like, oh yeah, it's a bit off, but we want people to say, I'm a Barakah culture practitioner. I want people to wear a badge and saying I'm a Barakah culture practitioner, and people reaching out to them says, yeah, how does Barakah culture deal with this issue? Right? I'm facing this issue in the workplace. How does Barakah culture deal with this issue? This is the sort of level we want to go and make it happen, inshallah ta'ala. So okay, for example, the question by Zaino about what strategy recommended for dealing with issues of nepotism in the workplace. That could be by itself a mastermind call. Literally, that could be by itself a mastermind call. So it's these type of questions, inshallah ta'ala. So another one, can I begin the recording? Yes, absolutely. The recording will be given, inshallah ta'ala, so no worries about that. So we have what is it about how to read a book? Well, there's a course. Umar Osman, who's the book club leader. Fatima, he answers that, inshallah ta'ala. Is it geared towards for professionals? Yes. We are very specific, Hafsa. We want to make sure that we are only targeting professionals, because they are really feeling the pain point of barakah, of hustle culture. Yes, we could open it to everyone else. Now, of course, we're not going to stop you if you're a student, if you're not working, if you are, retired. We're not going to stop you. Of course, we'll be honored to have you, but we want to make sure that the topics, the examples, the discussions will be very professionals, leaders, entrepreneurs type of discussion. So just again, and the reason I'm doing this is we're being very specific because before, again, if you remember, Productive Academy was open to everybody. And I felt like the level of discussion was just not at the same level. But if we can stay focused, all right, we're going to target professionals, leaders, entrepreneurs, people who are basically working and who are struggling with hustle culture, who want to make impact in the world, but hustle culture is drowning them. They're being caught between their egos and doing stuff for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the audience we're going, inshallah ta'ala. So we want to make sure we make it help, absolutely, inshallah ta'ala. Awesome. Sunnah died. There we go. Excellent. Alhamdulillah. Awesome. Mashallah. Great stuff. Any other question you'd like to add? Anything you wanna type? Again, if you want to unmute yourself, type in the chat. I'll unmute you. If you want to share thoughts, I know I promised to keep it within an hour, so I want to keep it, don't take too long. I have a tendency to go over time. But again, I really hope that this makes sense. I really hope that you can spread the word. Join us, be part of the platform. If you don't want to join us, fine. Just tell others who you feel will be beneficial. It's going to be a journey. There's a lot. There's going to be, we and ourselves, a team that we need to develop ourselves, make it happen. And again, if there's any way for us to work together and develop, if you have ideas, again, we're still early, we feel infinite. Maybe you can't keep all the ideas at the same time. But again, one thing I'll do, actually, this is something that came to mind a few days earlier. I'll do like a Trello board where you can see almost like a roadmap towards Barakah University. Like, what are we working on now? What are stuff we'd like to work on? What are some ideas you guys present? And that way, visually, you can see, okay, we know what Muhammad, and the team and Barakah Muslim are doing right now. We know what is in the works. We know what needs to happen. Maybe you can say, hey, I would love to help with this particular idea or this particular idea, inshallah. So let's do that. I'll start with a Trello board for Academy members, and you can see almost like keep a track of all the, all the stuff we're working on, all that roadmap. Again, and who knows, maybe one contact, one email, one thought can open a whole different way of making it happen, inshallah. So Suleiman, how can this benefit an entire organization? So great question. So the way normally depends. So far I've seen it work really well with small or medium-sized companies. So normally the CEO, the HR is really in tune Barakah Academy or Barakah culture, and he wants to spread this or she wants to spread this to the entire team. So that's what I normally. So for example, say, all right, if you come and do, let's see, I normally start with the retreat for the leadership team so that the leadership team is aware, and then we do like a general talk to the organization itself, like 15, 20 to 30 people usually. It's so small, 50 people. I've not seen work on scale. Like I've not, the Google's and American Airlines, these are more like ERGs, employee resource groups. So these are more faith-based ERGs. These are more like shorter workshops, but actual full-on workshop where we say, okay, we want to work with your team. Maybe it's best to work with departments within bigger organizations, for example. So let's say 15, 20 people, get them to test it, make sure they see it real, and we go spread the word. And by the way, don't feel uncomfortable if there are non-Muslims around. You'll be amazed. I've had non-Muslims in our trainings, and they love this stuff. So sometimes I find that the Muslims themselves tend to be they try to censor themselves too much, right? Don't feel uncomfortable. And that's why it's so helpful to kind of bring someone outside, so it's not you, and say, hey, listen, this guy, he's got this interesting thing, and we want to spread it out. And you'd be amazed when people pick it up. They're like, yeah, this makes sense. We're looking for this stuff. So make sure that whether you're working for a major corporation, working for a small company, we wanted to start talking about working with teams, because teams are the key to making this real more faster. Yes, as individuals might have all these great ideas, but really teams, when you see it happen, inshallah ta'ala. Yeah, everything makes me feel mystic. Absolutely. Okay, excellent. All right, so project managers, yes, maybe work on our ideas or on our target ideas, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, apps, that's good. That's a good question, Arifa. Membership giftable. Again, that's a cool idea. If you want to, we don't have that yet, but I'm sure we can set it up. Absolutely. Okay, Bismillah. Yeah, physical activities, yes, right? Now, again, we want to be careful. One of the mistakes that happened with, let's say, with Hinduism and yoga and Zen Buddhism, and even Buddhists themselves don't like this, is that the religion part was watered down, right? Because they're trying to fit into secular society, so they watered down, Buddhism, they watered down Hinduism in, let's say, things like yoga, things like meditation. We don't want to fall in that same mistake, because we don't want to water down our deen. Oh, it's okay. Let me be clear. If you want full barakah, you got to accept the full package. Now, that comes with salah and fasting, everything full package. Now, you might not be, if you're not ready to, of course, embrace the faith, but there are sort of things you can still benefit. So I want to be very clear that the full barakah comes if you adopt the entire lifestyle, the mindset, vows, and rituals. But let's say if you don't want to believe in this full culture, there is a lot you can learn and benefit from this but we don't want to compromise or try to water down a deen. This is something that, we don't want to be very clear, because otherwise it's very easy for people to start turning salah into an exercise, or turning salah into some kind of meditative, exercise, versus it being a form of worship. And so we want to be grounded, we want to be confident, we want to be saying, this is the last divine, this is a whole package. You can't pick and choose what suits you. But here's where we're going with this. Here's what you can learn from it, benefit from it. Now, up to you how much you're going to take forward with that idea or not. So that's something to keep in mind, inshallah. Sounds promising. How will new course be added? Again, there's a lot at stake. So we're spending some time on the next course we work on now is this Barakah practitioner. So the idea of the mindset, vows, and rituals. So this is our next course. So this might take about a month or two, depends on how fast we can develop the material, record, and everything is updatable, changeable. Keep on looking back. Some of our old courses, we're going to go back and redo them because there's a lot we learned along the way. So that's going to be the next course. At least this Barakah called Barakah culture practitioner. I think that's important us to do first, and then build from there, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. Another thing, enable. But again, Anis, one thing to keep in mind. I hope that yes, the courses are important, but I really hope that you're there for the community as well, because I feel like we've gained way more from being part of this community than from the course. This, I guess, that's my dream at least. My dream is people, just like when you go to university, when I went to university, I benefited from the courses. Yes, of course, I got my degree and everything, but the environment of the university was so much, what really shaped who I am, shaped my character. So the same thing, I want to make sure in mind that we want to build this community and and it's not about the courses themselves that are important. Yes, those are important. Yes, we're going to do them. But I hope that the mastermind calls, the book club, the community, that is where we got to get the most benefit and value from, inshallah. The pins. So the pins right now, we're sending them for free to all the members of Barakah Academy. So Khadija, actually, she's going through all your email. She's gonna be, her job is to, for those who sign up for the annual membership, she's gonna send us pins. But also those who we'll think about different ways to send you the cards. Those who sign up for our new masterclass as well, they get the pins as well. So they're not for sale at the moment. Even these cards, they're not for sale at the moment. We're doing small productions right at the moment, just to make sure we, get them out to our members. And slowly, so we're gonna build like a little shop if those want to buy extras for for themselves and teams. We can definitely do that, inshallah. But right now, we're focusing on our members and making sure that they, they get them first, inshallah. Yeah, absolutely. We'll get definitely so we're definitely developing the shop, the shop backend for that. But for now, if you're an annual member of Barakah Academy, you will get the pins, and the Barakah Culture cards will let you know where to get them from as well. Once we just released the first, we completely finished the first production. We did our 250, I think. It was 100 of these that we kind of completely finished. So we're going to do another batch now, about 500 of these cards, and we'll let you know once we have the supply. We'll let you know where to get them from, inshallah. Okay. Awesome. All righty. Thank you. Jazakumullah khair. Yes, Shahab, I see your point. I know exactly. And again, that's why I'm thinking it's not about the courses. So it's about the community. So two things. Number one, yes, we will remind you once you join the courses. MashaAllah, Sister Saima, she's with us. She's the Barakah account coordinator. Every week she prompts you and say, hey, what did you do today? What did you do the reading? Did you do your courses? So she'll be there doing the Slack to remind you as well. So again, and we'll even send you a way to schedule yourself, how to train yourself to go through these courses. But more important, again, Shaib, I hope that you join for the community. I hope you're part of the community and really build yourself with this community. And what I've noticed with the courses is that, it's not about finishing the courses, but it's about doing a course that addresses a pain point you're going through. For example, if you're struggling waking up early, maybe the How to Never Miss Fajr course becomes helpful. If you're having issues with life goals, the life goals course becomes helpful. If you're struggling with something to do work, our Level Up masterclass is very helpful. So, it's almost like, doing a course is relevant. And if there's something there's an itch or pain that we didn't resolve, that's when we'll set up a Trello board. You can put a suggestion like, hey, can you do a course on stress management, which we actually already have? Can you do a course on dealing with delegation? Can you do a course with how to tackle things like nepotism? Like, then you can start asking for specific courses. Maybe we can do like a membership voting, which course you guys really, really want, and we can either find instructors or we develop material ourselves. So that way it becomes much more relevant to you versus it becomes just like a one, one of those random. I don't want to set up a huge library of videos that no one goes through. There's no point. I want to make sure it's relevant. And that's why even some things we might even any course which we notice no one is watching, we might even delete from the Barakah Academy, because we don't want to put stuff there that no one uses. We want to make sure the courses are relevant to people, inshallah. So I hope you join. And again, you can join us for the 25 for the month or for a year, and we have a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you don't like it, if you're like, I've never used this stuff, ask for money back, and no worries. As long as you just at least you become Barakah ambassador, at least you try to put your intention there. That's what's more important, inshallah. There we go. Carpenter mindset, gardener mindset. Absolutely right. It's not about finishing the courses, about planting the seeds, developing it. All righty. Again, thank you. Again, I don't want to spend too much time because I'm conscious of the time. And thank you all. You guys joined me on this beautiful Saturday, this morning here in Dallas, and just thank you for the opportunity to share this with you all. It makes a lot of sense, and I hope that all of us here can, if you take one thing from this whole webinar, whether you join Academy or not, is to really start realizing the beauty of our deen, the immensity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Did not just let us in this world to suffer through hustle culture. He gave us a guide, a way to us to live the best version of ourselves. We need to tap into that and make sure that inshallah ta'ala we have become ambassadors of barakah, so that we can receive the barakah in our time, in our family, in our children, in our wealth, inshallah ta'ala, and it'll give us beyond expectations. Jazakumullah khair. Barakallahu feekum. Subhanak Allahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Thank you all. Barakallahu feek. Take care, inshallah ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.